What's up, YouTube? Okay, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Let you know of the targets, possible targets, and what I did yesterday. Yesterday, I took a trade and it's up 200% on Bitcoin and on Ethereum, almost the same. It was at this region here. Why did I take the trade? I was looking at the 55 EMA and the 8 and 13 and 21. At this point, Bitcoin was stalling. 8 and 13 and 21 EMAs were about to curl down. Stochastic RSI was stalling. We were at the overbought region and we're about to curve down. So I said, okay, that's good confluence. I will take the trade. Not solely on that, I had another confluence over here on the Bitstamp chart on the monthly. I was aware of my levels. So when you take a trade, you need not just stare at one time frame and just wait for it to play out. You need to be aware of other time frames. Look at that. The orange EMA, the 55 EMA is our resistance on the monthly. That's going to be big resistance. It's the monthly. That means it's the 55 previous month's exponential moving average. On the other hand, on this chart, I'll show you my targets. If Bitcoin pumps up, we have 25,925. If it pumps up within today and tomorrow, and at the bottom we have 20,544. That is so low down there, but I do have other targets. Keep them in mind. Keep in mind 22,900 and 22,555. On the monthly, stochastic is in the oversold region. However, it wants to curve down again. You see it was about to go up. Now we're moving down again. This is on the 4-hourly, sorry. On the hourly, other than the trade that I took that is up 200%, the reason why I'm mentioning it, just not to boast about my trades, but is to share with you the confluence that you use when you enter a trade, not just randomly trigger happy fingers and you just enter on any trade. Look for confluence on more than one indicator, more than one time frame, resistance level, strong resistance level, patterns, flags, whatever you want to use. But this pattern usually plays out. We've seen it when Bitcoin was at 30K. I can show you that when Bitcoin was in 30K, we've seen it play more than once in that region. And we could be doing the same. We might be stuck in this region. Bitcoin is also traveling on an ascending channel that has a parallel channel inside. I'll show you that in a minute. But if you take a look at this, this was the 30K region. Look at that. We had this Bart Simpson head playing out again over and over and over. Look at that. Again. So when you see that pattern, just train your eyes to see these patterns. Sometimes they play out, sometimes they don't. But when they play out, yeah, when they're there, they have a high chance of playing out. Over here, you had, after the dump, you were moving away from the 55 and then pumping back in it. Now here, you pumped away from it, then you know you might most probably move back into it, like what happened down there at Bitcoin yesterday. Now, as I was mentioning, Bitcoin is traveling in a parallel channel that is in an ascending channel. I'm going to show you that with possible targets. Look at that. Just note them down, keep an eye on them, not financial advice, just things I am looking at. And I like to share it with everyone for free so everyone can be a better trader, make trading easier. I wish I had someone that I could watch like this when I was beginning in my trading path, because it makes you understand things much simpler when someone explains it like this that has been where you were. So there you are. These are your targets for now. You need to learn how to chart on your own. You need to see what I am doing so you could do it on your own and even become a much proficient trader. So we are essentially in an ascending channel. It's fine to draw a channel within Fibonacci channels. That's fine. Whatever works for you, you find your edge. Look at that. This is an ascending channel we're traveling in, and we formed a range now. Could it be a distribution range? That means we're going to dump, or an accumulation. Over here, before we pumped, we had very few candles. Over here, after we pumped, we had many candles. What are we doing? Only time will tell, but we still have this green candle to recover and this green candle to recover. And this is Bart Simpson's head. You could see Bart Simpson had on the weekly, so you don't say I'm just bearish and I'm just looking in one direction. Bart Simpson on the weekly, if we remove all these drawings, I'm going to delete all of them just to show you this. We could be recovering to the upside up to the 29, 28K range and cover that gap, recover that gap on the CME, Bitcoin CME, and then we'll have this kind of movement. Bart Simpson had recovery. Then possibly we could come down and had an inverse head and shoulders and we move up. That's a possibility, but you need to be aware of that. Usually Bitcoin, after an extensive move like that we had now, this dump that we've been having for months now, we usually would have bullish divergence on the RSI that tells us that we are done dumping and we're going to start pumping. And we didn't have it this time. So I'll show you that in a second. The RSI on the daily, usually after a spike down like this over here, we make a low. The RSI will make a low over here. It did. Then price action will come and make a lower low. So we'll break 17.5 at some point. And then your RSI won't make a lower low because price will come down and make a long wick and go back above, close above 17.5. That will make your RSI not close above your not close low, but to close higher. So you'll have a higher low in RSI and a lower low in price action. And that will give you bullish divergence, indicating that we're going to reverse. And then you have more confluence. At the moment, we don't have confluence, but Bitcoin doesn't have to do that. It's not something it must do, but it's done it in the past. So if you look over here, our previous big dump from 64K. Let's try and see if we could see it over here. I need to expand this. Okay, in the beginning of the dump, I think we didn't have it over here. We had a low over here, and we had a lower low over here, whilst in the RSI, we had a low over here and a high low. So that's bullish divergence. We didn't get it exactly at the bottom wick. I can't see it at the bottom wick, but because over here we didn't have, the fifth wave was truncated. It didn't expand far from the third wave drop. This over here, I think, was the third wave. The fifth wave barely did anything. This was the fifth wave. It did not even exceed it. It was a truncated fifth. So we had a higher low in price action, while we should have had a lower low in price action, higher low in RSI. But I showed you over here, we have some sort of bullish divergence. Low, lower low, while in RSI, you see we have a low over here and a higher low. That's bullish divergence telling you, okay, we're about to reverse. You could come in on this daily candle and you would have your stop loss below the wick and you pump it to the upside. That's one way to play it. So we are preferring that. When we were up here at 69K, we had major bearish divergence. We had a high peak over here and a higher peak. On RSI, on the daily, we had a peak over here and we had a higher peak. But when you look into it, you notice our RSI had, let me look at that, wait. We have higher highs over here and you see we have higher highs in price action. Sorry. Price action was just going higher and higher. RSI was going lower. Bearish divergence. So we knew we were going to reverse. Let's look at the weekly. Did we have anything? On the weekly, it was much clearer. My bearish divergence over here, it's very clear. High highs price action, lower highs in RSI. You could see it very clearly. That's on a weekly time frame. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Put down in the comments if you understood, if you got what I mean, and